Most people building an AI business are doing it completely wrong, which is why it's surprisingly easy to get ahead of 99% of them. I spent the last 5 years building AI agents and automation tools, been featured on Business Insider, Times Square, made over $600,000 from this, and even got offered $200,000 to sell just one of my AI apps I only spend 5 hours a month on. And here's what I'm seeing. The gap between people who are actually making money with AI and those who are just talking about it is getting wider faster. In this video, I'll give you a clear 7-step roadmap to build a profitable AI business. And the best part, it only takes 30 days to go from beginner AI business owner to a profitable one. Let's dive in. Week 1 starts with learning what I call problem language. Most people start their AI business journey the wrong way. They Google top 50 AI tools. They learn about GPT wrappers, fine-tuning, RAG systems. They skim through everything, which is a recipe for failure. Here's what 99% of AI developers get wrong. They think about technology first and problems second. But businesses don't pay for technology, they pay for solutions to their problems. I once had a hotel worker reach out to me through Reddit. He wasn't asking about AI architecture or what model I was using. He said, hey, I can't get shifts because thousands of workers are fighting for the same slots and I'm just too slow to get them. That was it. That was a problem. He didn't care if I used Puppeteer.js, N8N, or trained hamsters running on a wheel. He cared that when shifts drop, he got them. Within a week, I built a basic web agent that books shifts for him at lightning speed. No fancy UI, no extra features, just a script that worked. I didn't even have a landing page to show him about my app. It was literally a private sell. And would I personally use it? Hell yeah, if I was a shift worker. That one client turned into 8 clients paying $500 to $700 per month each. MRR went from 0 to over $5,600 in just weeks. So here's what problem language looks like in practice. Instead of thinking, I want to build an AI agent that uses GPT-4 with memory context and semantic search, think who has a task that takes up more time than it should that a computer could do faster. That should be the thought process. Your mom struggling to get that limited edition handbag. Your friend who owns a flower shop manually responding to every single Instagram DM. Your coworker spending 3 hours sorting through chunks of emails. Those are all problems, and problems are where the money is. By the end of week 1, you should have a list of at least 10 problems you've personally witnessed. Not ideas from Twitter, not hypotheticals, real problems from real people you can actually talk to, including yourself. And I mean, I talk to myself, I don't know about you, but it's a good exercise. Now that you understand problems and problem language, we're going to pick your instrument. Now here's the thing. Most people start building the wrong way. They try to learn N8N, VoiceFlow, Make, Zapier, Python, Node.js, and Cursor all at the same time. That's like trying to learn drums, guitar, piano, and saxophone simultaneously. You're gonna suck at all of them. It's like the quote, jack of all trades but master of none. Think about it like this. I spent years mastering web automation with Puppeteer.js before I even touched no-code tools. And when N8N came along, picking it up wasn't hard because I already understood the rhythm of automation. See what I did there? Music, automation. So which one do you pick? If you want fast results with zero code, start with N8N. I built an $11,000 ad tracking system for a client using N8N, no code. If you want to build apps fast, learn Cursor AI or Claude Code. I built AI apps within 12 hours and got him paid hundreds to thousands of dollars. But really, it doesn't matter which one you pick first. What matters is you spend time with one of them and learn its personality, its limits, its strengths. The goal is to start feeling the rhythm, not to become a master of absolutely nothing. By the end of week 1, you should be able to build a basic automation without watching a tutorial. That's the benchmark. If you can't do that, something's wrong, start it again. Step 3 is context is everything. All right, so we've identified problems and picked our tool. Now let's talk about what actually makes your solutions smart, and that's context. The world's most powerful AI agents or solutions will seem useless if you don't understand the context of the problem you're solving. Here's what I mean. When the hotel worker first reached out, I didn't just say, cool, I'll build you a bot. I asked questions. How does a shift booking system work? What time do shifts drop? How many workers are competing? What's the actual interface look like? Are there any rules against automation? I want to learn absolutely everything. The context is a map that helps you navigate towards a real solution. This is called the deep framework. D for details. Get the specifics of the current process, every click, every wait time, every frustration. E is for environment. What tools are they already using? What's their technical comfort level? What's their budget? E, part 2, E squared, is for expectations. What does success look like for them? Is it saving time, making money, reducing stress? Figure that out. And P is for precedent. Has anyone anyone tried to solve this before? What worked, what didn't? Who are the competitors? The richer the context, the better your solution will be. And here's the kicker. The more context you gather, the easier it is to sell because you understand their world better than they do. Once you start using frameworks like Deep, you've joined the top 10% of AI builders. Next is to debug your business model. When you're not making money, the problem isn't the AI, it's your thinking. I remember when I first started building agents, I spent weeks perfecting this one automation, adding features, polishing the UI, and making it ready. And then, nothing. No sales, no interest. I built something nobody asked for. I just thought it would be cool and maybe people will want it. But here's the hard truth. Did I validate the problem first? No. Did I talk to potential customers before building? No. Did I have anyone waiting to buy? Absolutely not. And that is the problem. You must make sure you're doing the steps before this to really build an effective solution. And there are 3 patterns I use now to debug my business thinking. The first is a pre-sell pattern. Before I even finish building, I post about my progress on Twitter, Reddit, Discord. I share screenshots. I hint at what's coming. When I launched my shift booking agent, I already had workers DM me asking me when it would be ready, like the SaaS version of it, which is I would charge $600 a month per client for. The second is the iteration pattern. When someone says no or ignores me, I ask myself, did I explain the value clearly? Did I target the right person? Did I price it wrong? And then I tweak and try again. Always pivot when possible, make changes when possible, update yourself and your solution when possible. Speaking of updates, the third is a feedback pattern. I create a whole Discord for most of my software products. For Insta DM, for Agent Fast, for Quick Shorts, users are extremely vocal about bugs, issues, and recommendations. That feedback helps me improve faster than if I was building alone. Mr. B says having 5 friends working on the same thing helps you solve mistakes at a 5x rate. Imagine how fast you solve mistakes when you have tens or hundreds of users giving you feedback directly through Discord. I call that Godspeed. Now, by the end of week 2, you should have talked to at least 5 potential customers about their problems. Not pitch them, just listen. The next part is to navigate what the money is. When you're trying to figure out what to build, you're not searching for the perfect idea, you're navigating through a landscape of opportunities. If you just think generically like, I'll build an AI assistant, I'll build an AI voice system, you create something mediocre that competes with ChatGPT itself, which is something you don't want to do because they are a multi-billion-dollar startup. So how do you find the edges, the niches where money actually flows? Well, you navigate towards specific industries with specific problems. I think about porta potty businesses, think about a septic tank business, think about swimming pool businesses. These are businesses that have very common problems that you can solve for that aren't too famous. Like personally, this is what I started with. I would look at who has money and recurring problems. So I look at dentists, lawyers, real estate agents, e-commerce store owners, content creators. These people have cash and pain points. Second, I look for industry with outdated systems. For example, septic tanks, the poop industry, right? They all have outdated systems because they're run by millennials. There's one dentist I work with was manually tracking appointments, patients, and cancellations via Google Sheets. The website had traffic but no conversions, and that was a gold mine because dentists make a lot of money. If you're able to automate the workflow, they'll pay you a good amount. The other thing I do is look at what's already selling. So I go to Product Hunt and look at the top products for the last 4 weeks. People are building AI scheduling assistants, AI email responders, AI content generators. If something is selling, there's a market for it, right? So sometimes use your competitors to your advantage. You can even steal ideas. There are like 10 different meme coin AI solution agents out there, 10 different note-taking apps, and some even look identical. But guess what? They all make their developers thousands of dollars every month, and that just goes to show that you do not have to reinvent the wheel. So please don't. All you gotta do is find a wheel that's already rolling and build your own version. Like here's a $1 million idea I thought of but haven't created. A mass LinkedIn job applier app. Easy money if you create it. By week 3, you should have narrowed down to one specific industry with one specific problem you're going to solve. At this point, if you are wishing you had someone to work with you one-on-one that's made over $600,000 doing this, I have a surprise. I am reopening 4 spots for my AI business coaching program where I work with you one-on-one to build, launch, and scale your AI business. I've helped 150 plus students launch their own without wasting any time. Speaking of not wasting time, step 6 is to verify everything. Here's something that trips up most AI builders. They assume the solution works without actually testing in the real world. There are 3 ways to separate working solutions from broken promises. First, test the real users. Don't just test yourself. Get someone else use your app and watch them. How do they interact with it? What's their feedback? You'll see confusion you never noticed because everyone interacts with technology differently. You'll catch bugs you never triggered. Second, you want to test under real conditions. For example, my agent/app that book shifts, I tested when the shift actually dropped. For example, your chatbot handles inquiries. Test it with real customer questions, not the sanitized ones you made up where you know what the output's gonna be. Third, get paid before you finish. This is my favorite. If my shift booking agent was probably like 70% good, I already had clients paying. Why? Because it worked. It wasn't perfect, but it solved their problem, and that's all that mattered. Now, here's the thing about AI. It will sound confident even when it's wrong. And I honestly hate this. It makes me so mad. So make sure you're careful with it, because you have to verify every claim you make about what your solution can do or can't do, because if you just go by what the AI is saying, it can literally be wrong. By the time you finish week 3, you should have at least one person who has used a solution and confirmed it works. And now it's time to develop your taste. Most people build AI businesses like they're using a vending machine. They push a button, grab whatever generic output comes out, and wonder why nobody's buying. So how do you stand out? You develop taste. For example, my student Ladon built his dental AI system for a Texas dentist. He didn't just slap together a generic. What he built was a dashboard with high in-depth analytics, call tracking. It was fully custom made. It integrated perfectly with the chatbot, stored leads, handled missed calls, canceled appointments, did absolutely everything. And the questions he asked was what would make the dentist's jaw drop and what would make him tell other dentists about it. And that's how he was able to land that client. And of course, he had a great mentor. And then me and him pitched the idea together where we would tell that dentist that we would give him a finder's fee if he is able to bring some of his friends on board on the solution. That's taste, building something that makes people want to share it. Here's a framework I use and teach. STAND. S is for specific. Is a solution laser focused on one problem, if not narrow it? T is for tangible. Can you show measurable results, screenshots, metrics, testimonials? A is for automated. Does the solution actually save time or effort? If it requires manual work from the client, it's not really valuable enough. N is for new. Does it feel fresh, or does it feel like every other AI tool out there, like voice AI receptionist for dentists? I feel like everyone wants to do that nowadays. And because the industry is so far behind, it still works, but it will become saturated at a point. And D is for delightful. It's just something about your solution that makes people smile, a small touch that shows you care. As you apply this over 30 days, you start noticing something deeper. Every problem you solve, every client you talk to, every iteration you make, you're not just building a business, you're training yourself to see the world differently. The eyes of automation. Most people are paralyzed by the AI revolution. They see headlines about job losses and automation and they freeze. But AI is not here to replace your income. It's here to multiply your value. To pick the best AI instrument that will work with you for your business, check this 4-hour course next.